Hey, what's up everyone? I'm going to get back to the topic of this channel, what my channel was originally created for, what the back to square one, back to the basics, back to where it all started from. Give that nostalgic feel. Well, I don't know if it's nostalgia, but back to the original reason why I created this channel, the Mandela effect. So, whether you're affected by one or not affected by another or whatever, all we know is that we are all affected by this phenomenon in our own way, and it's something that I don't think it brought us together for nothing. I'll tell you that. I don't. It wasn't for nothing, and the rest of this world doesn't see it. They don't experience it, and there are various verses in the Bible that also seem to point to things like that. And all shall be changed in the twinkling of an eye. Maybe that's part of it, and maybe for the people who are awake. I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about a little bit of that. I'll talk a little bit about it, and just a little bit, and explain and talk about a few things. Gonna have to end the videos soon. I won't make it super long. I'm gonna get some rest, and we'll have to get up in early in the morning, and we're gonna have to leave. So I'll make it kind of short. But one of the ones that really annoy me now, though, is the Sinbad Mandela effect. Everyone will say, oh, the news people go, no, I think they're thinking of Kazam. Even the guy in the movie Shazam, he remembers. He said, here's the thing, there's millions of people that remember. You can't, and they said, no, they're remembering Shaq. No, we're not. We're not remembering Shaq. I remember every time I seen Shaq, every time I seen him, every single time I seen Kazam in Goodwill or wherever, I thought, why did he make a genie movie? Sinbad's already made a genie movie. And that's the first thought. Now, you're not going to have that thought unless it existed. You're not going to have that thought. You can't be thinking of Kazam if when you see Kazam, you're thinking immediately, why is he just copying Sinbad? That's the exact thing that I thought. And that is exactly what I thought. But now, whether you feel like, oh, we're shifting universes, some people, it seems like the closer you get to an answer or an explanation, something kind of pulls you back to another one. It pulls you to another explanation, and then you're back to square one, and you're going, wait a minute, now this doesn't make sense. Why is there still residue that remains? Unless portals are opening up and allowing residue to come through and remain. The general consensus seems to be our consciousness shifting. And I remember in 2015 looking up consciousness and looking up, unity consciousness, universal consciousness, and spiritual consciousness, and the awakening, and things like that. And it led me to various things that you can't find now because, let's face it, Google and other corporations, they take this stuff down. Either that or it just didn't exist in this reality, but I would highly suspect that they probably just took it down. But I remember being in Granny's room, and I could hear it shift Berenstain to Berenstain Bears, and it would shift back and forth. I remember seeing the books look different as a child and thinking nothing else about it. I have gotten books before they should have ever been able to release a magazine before they should have ever been able to release. There was a magazine with a coon cat on it. And here's a really interesting thing from personal experience in my life that led me to know that reality is not what you think it is. I'll tell you that. Reality is not what we think it is. Now, what it is, I don't know. I guess we'll have to have God answer that for us someday. But here's the thing. We got this magazine from school when I was younger. It was in the 4th or 5th grade that I got the magazine. Let's see. Let me try to remember when I got it. 5th grade. I remember now. 5th grade, I got the magazine, and I got this magazine. It had a coon cat on it, and then I got it in 5th grade. That's 2005, and it was released. And I remember getting it, and they let me have it because I said that looked like my cat. It looked like my cat, and I wanted to have it, so we kept it, and the library let us have it. So, fast forward, in the reality around us, that magazine did not come out until December 2008. 3 years after I got the magazine. 3 years after I got it, which would have been impossible. And here's the thing. if I'd have just known, which how would you know that? I got the magazine 3 years before it ever released. On December 2008, well, is when it released. It released 3 years after I got it. 3 years later, after the release date of that magazine, on the date of the release, my cat passed away. Our cat died. December 28th, 2011. 3 years after the actual release of the magazine. And the magazine has December 2, and then his ears block the 008, December 28th. And it was like telling me, just synchronicities. It was like telling me. And as a child, I would witness things that, as a child, I knew. I witnessed things beyond. I knew that there was something going on beyond, that I was connected to the stars. I was always out there. I was always spaced out. Thus the name of my channel, Spaced Out Productions. I was always, that's kind of where that originated from, the name. And then I just chose the Helix Nebula as the background because I've always loved astronomy, and I've been connected with astronomy and space and the universe and physics and, you know, just all of that. It's just resonated with me so deeply. And I've always said that there's a connection with beings out there that I cannot even begin to explain and things like that. But this whole Mandela effect phenomenon happened, and that took that to a whole new level. But it's like you felt this isolation before that was going on. There was such isolation and pain, and it was a weirdness, like something was happening during this. And then you look up awakening, and then when you looked up the awakening, then you seen symptoms you were going through, and you didn't. I wrote about things, and I wrote about them, poems and all kinds of stuff, and it didn't happen for nothing, I'll tell you that. But I can remember long before this phenomenon had a name. I remember items disappearing, items changing, flip-flopping, and it would happen before this phenomenon had a name, and then it skyrocketed in 2015. Then I started making videos on it. And thanks to Photo Helix, I gained I think 500 extra subscribers. When Photo Helix started making videos, he shouted me out, and this ex-NASA employee actually talked on his channel and shouted me out, and I appreciated that a lot. And that was an honor, and I don't know what happened to him, but he hasn't been making videos lately. There were so many, and then there were so many of us on YouTube, and even doctors and lawyers and dentists that were working in what they call credible people, because apparently they just don't consider anyone else credible that doesn't have some kind of a major degree or something. But they went through this phenomenon. They experienced it. CEOs now talking about how things are changing on them. And here's the thing, we've been witnessing things for a very long time, and I knew that I was something different since I was a child. I knew there was something beyond what I could even explain. I wish I could have kept all of the comments. I wish I could have kept every single one of them. And to those that say they go through all of my comments, I mean all my videos and stuff, and listen to them and talk, I appreciate the viewership. And donations, I appreciate any donations, because we've been going through a rough patch, and that's just, the donations help out, and I appreciate them a lot. I greatly appreciate the birthday donations. Thank you very much. Thank you to Jose Martinez, Georgia Bigfoot, Kelly Meyer Alaska, I think the YouTube name is, and to any future donations. There were a few others that said they were going to donate, but they went through a rough patch themselves, and I don't know if they were able to. If not, I understand. But I appreciate it greatly. But it's something that, people say, you look at what's going on, and you're like, well, we've tried to explain what's going on. It's like, well, you try to explain what's going on as, the first thing you try to do is you try to come up with some rational explanation, but then it's like, well, there are no rational explanations anymore. The most illogical seems to be the most logical anymore. And it's like, well, you go into the whole simulation thing, and then it's like, well, things keep appearing and disappearing and flipping, shifting, shape-shifting, flip-flopping, but there's interdimensional beings, and God exists, that, the gods of old, the fallen ones, all of that stuff. That all of this stuff is real, and there's good and bad beings, and that God, that God is not the author of confusion. We know that God's not the author of confusion. The source is not the author of confusion. And but it's, you look at these things and you go, well, it's a Mandela effect. You know, things change, they flip flop. But then you think, well, why is everyone so crazy in this world we're living now? It's like Jay Chris stated, he feels the exact same way I do. It's like, what the frick? We're in Bizarro world. What the crap? And it's like, all of a sudden, where the heck did these people come from? But then why aren't they looking at us that way? If they were the native to this world we're living in, it's like everyone is so different. Everyone is so dang different. Now, as far as the campaigns against, bullying and all that, I agree with that. Anti-bullying people. There's no reason for bullying people because there's so many people that go through illnesses and diseases and problems, and they're bullied for their conditions and bullied for being shy or bullying for. It's just wrong. It's wrong to bully people. It really is, and that's something that I am proud of, and that is happening in the modern world. People are anti-bullying, but it seems like that goes both ways. You can't bully someone because of a different political view or opinion or a different belief. You can't bully someone because they're conservative or Republican or whatever. If the only people that can't be bullied are Democrats or people, that I don't agree with. That's what's happening in this reality, and it's just not right. Or someone who is liberal or Democrat or whatever, the only people that can't be bullied, like look at what happened with Mitch McConnell. That I don't agree with, and this reality's got a lot of that going on. It's just, but I just know the Lord's not the author of confusion, and it's just something we got to figure this thing out. But the closer you get to an answer, it seems like the further away you get from an answer. It's like the closer you get to one particular idea or answer, the more confusion takes place, and then the more unanswered questions there are. But that whole Sinbad thing, that really, this one person said, I lose sleep over that. And it's like, well, yeah, I get what you're saying. That one really perplexes me. It's like, why can an entire movie not exist? It didn't just change. A line didn't change. The title didn't change. Spelling. No. The entire dang movie. And then there was an interview that Sinbad had with. That's actually how I knew Sinbad was the genie movie. Him as a genie. I can still see it. ABC Family. They had it. Disney advertised it all the time. It's something that people remembered seeing it, recording it. People remembered seeing it in the on the lineup, on the TV guide, and I remembered seeing him in Blockbuster. I remembered seeing his arms crossed as the genie on the VHS. It's just, I remember it completely. And you notice there's a lot of '90s nostalgia coming back right now during this time of the Mandela effect. There's a lot of '90s nostalgia happening, and things are coming back. They're bringing a lot of that back, and it's being brought back up. There's so many searches. When you search Sinbad, you see genie movie. Sinbad, Shazam. And it's just, we remember it. We vividly remember it. And then thinking, Shaq copied Sinbad. Why would Shaq just copy Sinbad? Why do we need another genie movie when Sinbad already made one? That's the first thing we all thought. Thus, that's probably one of the reasons why it didn't gross that much. And then, boom. But then, why did it not in this reality if that movie didn't exist in this one? And then Sinbad said, y'all are crazy. Y'all crazy, But he announced this year, you know what? I'm going to make that genie movie just to please everyone who claims they remember it. But we do remember it. My family, I remember it. Mama, everyone out there, people on the internet, you all remember it. Reddit, YouTubers, everyone. We remember the Sinbad genie movie. Without a doubt. We could pass a polygraph if those things are legit. If those are really legitimate, we could pass a test on that. I remember it. I promise, I remember it. And, you do too. So why would people be searching a movie that doesn't exist? So many people would be, that's what's crazy about that one, is the fact that the whole movie doesn't exist. But you've got movie reviews of it, and you've got it in the TV guide. Why do we still have residue of that? Why does residue remain if we're shifting realities? That's another complicated thing, unless it just remains over in this existence. I don't know. It's there's so much confusion regarding. There's so many different theories regarding what's causing this phenomenon. But that one I know 100%. Just like the if you build it, they will come thing. We tend to think that in one point in the movie, his dad came to him as a spirit saying, if you build it, he will come, talking about his dad. and then later in the movie, if you build it, they will come talking about the football team. That seems to be the general consensus there, as they said it both ways in the movie. I don't know. I'll have to watch the entire movie and find out. But as far as this, that one I can't say 100%. But as far as the Sinbad movie, the Genie movie, Shazam, I remember it vividly. Not a doubt in my mind. And he actually went on there and said, "Man, y'all crazy. Y'all are crazy." But interestingly enough, he had an interview with everyone on the comment section too. Was looking, saying, "Man, I was hoping to see that." When he had an interview, Sinbad had an interview with who's that guy that had his own talk show? He had his own talk show for a while. Arsenio Hall. He had a talk show for a while, and he had it again back in 2011 or so. Well, during the 90s, he interviewed Sinbad and said, "Good luck with the Disney deal." He said that really low. He was like, "Good luck with the Disney deal." I'll show you in a moment. This was in 1993. Arsenio Hall interview. And that's why a lot of people knew Sinbad was the Genie movie. Now watch what Arsenio Hall says. He said, "Good luck with the Disney deal."
Oh, God. I appreciate you coming by tonight, man, and continue success and good luck with the Disney deal. All right, man.
He's like, "Oh, gosh." And he said, "I thank you for talking about good luck with your Disney deal." And he just kind of whispered it there. It was kind of weird how he just kind of whispered it.
Good luck with the Disney deal. All right. Continue success and good luck with the Disney deal. All right, man.
See, good luck with your Disney deal. I mean, that's kind of strange how he would say that, and then that movie doesn't exist in this reality.
Continue success and good luck with the Disney deal. All right, man.
Think about it. Sinbad the Genie. Alright, let's continue to be lost in cyberspace, I suppose, as it says right there. So, peace, much love, I love you all, and may the Lord guide us. Anyway, I love you all. Feel free to donate. The link is below. If you like my content and you want to support me and help us out and support the channel, support the cause, feel free to donate below, because every donation helps, and without you, there is no channel. So, well, there is, but it's useless without the subscribers and useless without the donations. Peace and much love. I love you all so much. Give your thoughts on this, namely the Sinbad Genie movie and all that other stuff. So, I'm out. Shazam! Shazam. Anyway, peace and much love. I hope to speak with all of you again very soon. There's a lot of crazy people out there in this reality. People seem so dang different. People seem so different. It's just not, it's not the same world around us right now. It really isn't. But if we shifted, you would think that they would be looking at us like Jay Chris said, like, you know, Jason Christopher said, they'd be looking at us like, where the frick did they come from? Where the crap did they come from? But they don't. They're just looking at us like we've always been here. We've always been the crazies. And used to, you felt relatively normal when you walked into some place. You felt normal, but now it's like, well, then you suddenly feel like everyone looks at you like an outsider. We all just got along for a while, and it's just crazy. Well, actually, not everyone doesn't look at me like an outsider. I mean, I'm nice to everyone, and they're nice to me. People treat me very kindly, thankfully. Thankfully, people always treat me very nicely, and I always treated the people who were different nicely. People who were disabled and things like that, I would hang out with them. And everyone was like, "Why are you hanging out with them?" And I was like, "How are they any different than you are?" And I would do what the Lord wants us to do. And I would always hang out with the people. It was just in me since I was very little to hang out with the people who had problems, issues, or were different or disabled or things like that. Mental, anything like that, who had a problem. Anyone that had a problem, I would treat them the same, and I would go out of my way to just sit with them and be with them, and that's just how I've always been. And I love everyone in the Jesus way, in the God way, and that's just the way I've always been. And everyone's been pretty nice to me mostly. So you have a few people here and there that Not gonna say much about them, but you have a few people here and there that are sticklers. But just got to be nice, and I try to put out love, and I try to be nice to everyone. And just wanted to share a few things in this crazy journey. And interestingly, some people state that videos of mine are different in this world. My personality is different in this reality for them. And for me, I had never met those people before, but they remembered speaking with me. And then it's crazy when you have people who were hateful to you or suddenly have always been nice, and people who are nice suddenly don't like you. It's crazy. It really is. You've got such differences, and then you think, well, maybe it is a different reality. Maybe that's what's happening. But then it's like, maybe it's simulation. Maybe it's reality. Maybe it's in times. Maybe the times and laws are being changed. And first of all, if times and laws are being changed in the future during the reign of the final Antichrist, if the times and laws are being changed then, wouldn't we be seeing the effects of it now? So, yeah, that's a few of my thoughts. Those are a few of my thoughts. So, yeah, it's just, you have people who are affected differently, people you think you knew online too, and then they turn out to be a totally different person and always have been that way, or they say that I was totally different, had a different personality, different beliefs and things like that I had, but I never did. I'm the same me for me, but might notice a few physical differences every once in a while and things like that, and that you didn't notice before and others didn't notice. And it's like, and that's part of this phenomenon. It's like shifting, but yet it's like reality's changing. Or are we shifting universes and realities? That's the general consensus, that we shift realities. And it's a pretty crazy thing, but it's brought us all together. We found each other through it, so that's the good thing. And I'll be talking later about this. In the meantime, let's keep observing. Peace. Signing out. Links are below if you'd like to show your love and support through a donation and help out, or contact me by the email for this channel. Peace, everyone. Signing out.